I'm Mark, also known as the Delivery Dude, and this is my 2016 Ford Transit Connect. And this is the story of how I transformed my delivery van into an adventure van. So today's plan is to sort the floor out. So I've got this rubber mat I'm going to fit. I've got some glue, I'm going to glue it all down, I'm going to add some metal trim, I'm going to make it look a lot nicer than it currently is. So let's get started. So this is my van. It's a 2016 Ford Transit Connect, short wheelbase, crew cab. It's tiny, but I'm sure I can make it work. So as you can see, I had this bit of plywood fitted from factory, and I've been using this bit to kind of level out the floor a wee bit. It's a crew cab, so these are rear seats. I've removed one of them, which is where the bit of plywood would have been, and I've got this dual seat which I can fold down. Hold on, I'll show you that. What I'm hoping to do is be able to use that, build something behind it towards from the back of the seat towards the back doors, that will kind of act as a bed platform, if you like. So because that falls flat, I can sort of use that. And it's going to be tight, but I'm pretty sure I can do it. I'm not going for something really fancy, it's something minimal. So all I'm really needing to do today is give it a nice floor, and to do that I'm going to use this rubber matting. I had this left over from my previous van build, but unfortunately it's not long enough. So what you can see down there is a brand new roll of it. So I'm going to cut all that to shape, stick everything down, and hope for the best. Now that I've taken that plywood out the back, you can see that I have actually put a little bit of this sticky insulation stuff down underneath it, and I'm not really too fussed about how warm it's going to be, because it's not a big van, so I'm not going to be using it in the winter, so it wasn't a priority to me, but it does deaden the sound a wee bit. All the walls are carpeted and insulated behind all the panels and stuff like that, so that's going to keep me cosy at night and hopefully cool during the summer months. There we go, I've cut that to shape, and looks pretty nice. It looks reasonably professional. I'm not worried about the edges here and stuff, because I've got a trim to cover this bit here. Like, I've got a plastic trim, and I'm going to use a metal trim along the edge here. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So now this bit that you can see that's like red and silver, I'm going to need to cut a bit to fit that as well. So I'll do that next, and then hopefully it'll start to look like a nicer van. So as you can see, it's taken a bit of work, but I've managed to more or less fit this and cut round all the bits that I'm supposed to have cut round. This is the anchor for the seat. It's not that tidy, this hole here, but I believe that there is a trim that I can buy, which is from the Tornado Connect. So I'm going to go and see if I can either find one of them or just make something that sort of tidies that up and covers this bit, but it's not terrible. And to be honest, you're not going to see most of this because it's going to be behind that seat there, so that seat's going to be down most of the time. I just wanted this like one continuous bit, so I just need to trim it at this other end now, and that's that bit done. Done a pretty decent job of this. Looks alright. Trimmed it around the edge there. I'm not really too bothered about this side because I'm going to put a bit of plywood over that anyway. But yeah, these little holes are about as precise as I can make them, and everything's reasonably flat. Once I put the other bit of plywood on the back here, things will start to really take shape, so I'll get on and get that done now. Well, that's the plywood on, and then as if by magic, with the mat on, and with a little bit more magic, I also added this brand new trim, which I just needed to alter a little bit because it's designed for the Tornado Connect, which has a slightly different, must have a slightly different bracket here, so I had to cut out this little bit here, but it works. I'm also going to add, I haven't done it yet, but this stainless steel trim I'm going to put along this edge here just to tidy it up a bit. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. The last bit I need to do is I've got this bit of plywood that I've cut around the shape here, and I just need to put a little bit of the rubber mat on top of that to make it match, make it be all matchy, and then we're done. And the whole purpose of this is for when I step into the van from this side, when the seats are folded down, you've basically got a level floor all the way. So I got half of the way there yesterday. This is day 2. What I've got to do now is I've just got to fill in a little bit of the floor and glue the rubber mat down to the plywood, and that's us done. So let's get on with it. So yeah, here's what we're looking to achieve next. So I've got my seats up now, my back seats, because it's a crew cab van, so we've got back seats. I've taken one of them out, and that gives us this extra bit of space here. So this is the lip, the end of the plywood that's in like the boot area, if you like, and as a result there's a bit of a drop down to the floor here. So what I'm intending to do is level this gap. So in order to do that I need to add a little bit of plywood, which I've cut, so I'll go around the other side and I'll show you that. As you can see, that's the back seats in their like upwards position. I've taken one of them out, that's why the gap's there, because I don't really need 5 seats ever. There's only ever going to be 3 of us in this van at the most, so I didn't feel like I needed 5 seats. Gives me that extra bit of space as well. So I like to, in between deliveries, I'll generally just sit in the back with the doors open, and I'll put my feet up on this couch. It's quite comfy. It sort of like acts as a couch, so it's got a double purpose, and then obviously it folds flat as well, and it also folds up against the rear seats to give me more loading space if I need it. So what I'm going to do is I've got this bit of plywood here that it's upside down. I've got this bit of plywood here that I've cut to size, and this goes round, follows the curve of the van, and I simply need to just put a bit of rubber matting on the top of that. You can see I've cut another bit of rubber mat. I've cut it roughly to shape. It's not quite exact because what I'm wanting to do is glue it on in place, and then once it's secure I'm gonna like cut it down to the actual, like trim it to the actual edges and get it precise, but I didn't want to cut it too short, which I did the last time. So what this now does is this effectively bridges the gap that we had and makes this whole bit of floor level from here right the way through to the back. So I could, if it wasn't a short van, I could basically walk through there and there wouldn't be any bumps or anything. The floor is about maybe an inch or so lower underneath the seats, but the seats are down most of the time anyway, and when they're not in this upright position they'll be folded flat. So all that remains now is just to glue it down. I've got this stuff, Evo Stick Impact. Now it's a multi-purpose instant contact adhesive, and all we need to do with that is paint it on both surfaces, let it cure for 20 minutes or so, and then it sticks down, and that's it. The reason I'm doing this is just so I don't want like any ripples on the floor or anything, and because if it does like sort of bubble up, then what will happen is that it can get snagged on stuff, and this rubber stuff, although it is quite durable, it does also tear quite easily, so I want to try and avoid that. Yeah, so let's get on with that. So all that remains now is to fit the metal trim and I'm done. So let's get that done. So this is the trim I'm going to use. It's just 1.5mm stainless steel angle. I'm going to stick it over the edge like that. Cut it to size, just trim it off here. And then I'm going to put a couple of screws in. And that'll hold it. Not only will it hold it, but it'll make it look really cool. So that's the plan. So that's it lined up. Just put a little mark here where I'm going to cut it. And that's what I'll cut. That's it cut to size, so I just need to mark a few holes now. We'll get it fitted. Yeah, I'm happy enough with how that turned out. It looks quite good. So now I just need to do the same on the wee bit of plywood that goes down here. So, there you go. That's it done. And I am delighted. Needs a bit of a sweep. But that's us. And this is, well, it's not quite finished because I need to get some screws. The ones that I put in were these gold ones, so I'm going to go and get some silver ones to match. You would not believe how long it took to do all these miters. Probably about 2 hours I think for me to do just this one bit. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get the proper screws and that'll be it finished. But I think that is pretty much a wrap for today.